Relacionamento sem crush nem ficante.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to another exciting week of Track Limits Racing Sports Car Series Season 1 of 2026. Round number 10, the finale. I'm back once again, Venticini, joining you alongside the likes of Phil Noe. Well, Mr. Wildcakes, how are you doing this evening?
Doing pretty good.
All right.
Really excited to be here at Road Atlanta. One of my favorite tracks. It's my white whale. So I've never finished an endurance race on track. So it's always like gone to pieces in the last bit. So but yeah, it's a great track. I love it. It's probably my favorite American race circuit.
Heck yeah. It's, I think, going to be another fun one. One of the third longest endurance race on the IMSA calendar pretty much every year. Petit Le Mans. No, it's probably not said with such French accent. We're about to get into qualifying, so we're going to talk about points because it's going to be a huge part of tonight's battles and stuff like that. So we may not get into a full lap around here until we're a little ways into the heat race. But important things to talk about. Points. We are, if I hit the buttons right, taking a look at them after 9 rounds of racing. We are here for a pretty thrilling race in almost all of the categories. Can we talk about how pretty, I would say almost insane it is to see after 9 rounds of racing, a 3-point gap between Luke Patrick and Jaden Ledbetter?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Yeah, for real.
So we have to do the math. We're crunching those numbers. I believe it depends on largely where they finish in the heat race, how much they will have to fight for the feature race and the actual points of this. Math says if Luke Patrick comes ahead of Jaden Ledbetter, it's going to be a pretty hard gap to close back down. But if Jaden Ledbetter beats Luke Patrick in the heat race, this gap closes down further, and it is pretty much a straight-up dogfight for who gets the faster one in the feature race, or who's higher in the feature race at the end of that. Couple other battles, I think, to note here, Jack Wilkins and Nathaniel Baker Jack Wilkins out this evening, which I think means that ends up going in the favor of Nathaniel Baker. For the LMP3 Pro Series, a lot of these other battles have been pretty much solidified. Gian Cardoso, by the way, had a fantastic run, ending up in 4th.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, Jack is here. Okay, sweet.
Yeah. So now that's an even
it.
bigger
Okay.
battle now. Yeah.
Because they are also 3 points apart, and the same rules apply. Nathaniel Baker getting ahead of Jack Wilkins will mean that gap closes down, and it's another pretty much, whoever finishes first takes home that one. LMP3 AM, I think, is probably our quietest, I want to say. Not fully, excuse me. Had that wrong. With only 6. Talk about this. You've been looking at this a little bit closer than I have tonight.
Yeah.
Let me give me the rundown on these ones here.
I mean, so the big thing is the battle at the top. Garrett Hillman joined late, one less start than Paul Miles, but with the drop round calculation, Paul's 6 points back. So it's down to Milo the first, putting in a good race if he wants to try and take the title from Garrett. Alan Love not out of the picture. If something were to happen catastrophically for either of these guys, a DNF would basically probably put Alan Love in place to pass them. And the rest of the field's pretty spread out. So I think it's going to come down to maybe just seeing kind of how the LMP3 AM runners handle the traffic around here.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun one. I'm excited to see how many of these drivers come back to get into it next season with us.
Yep.
Because I think it'll make for a very busy LMP3M series. I think they've had a great time out this season. I'm excited to see what they do next season. GT3, I think every category has something going on in it. This one, I think, is going to be one of the more interesting ones, as I think pretty much most of the drivers still have fights to go for in the top 5.
Yeah, there's pockets where, again, because of the arrangement of cars. I mean, we have a lot of cars on track right now. I think we have over 30 on track. So like anyone in these like middle and upper standings like get involved in an incident or something like that, and they could find themselves like just completely out of the points for their category, or at least down to the lower edge of it. So I think that's a big thing to look after.
Yeah, I think that is going to be a huge one as well as we get into it. It's just busy time. 2 points even from Andrew Mathias and Robert Lewis. Both of those drivers still have points to play for as well.
Yeah.
As I double check my own mic settings, because once again, I think Windows has done what it usually likes to do, which is just change shit on me without really giving me good indicator of whether or not that's the case. Yeah. It's not as bad as it usually is. I think we're okay.
Yeah. I mean, you sound great on my end.
All right, good.
I think the thing from GT3 that I'm looking at is, you got that battle in the top 3 with the championship coming down to Tanner and Gab, but then you've got Tommy and Tyler also tangling. So I mean, there's just battles all around.
Yeah, it's gonna be a busy one. It's gonna be a busy evening. I think we're gonna have a lot to try to keep up with, and we're gonna do our best. Got people in chat supporting Gab Chavez. That battle, I think, gonna come down to the wire for those two drivers.
Yep.
In a lot of these pockets, the similar thing we talked about for Jaden and Luke applies to these drivers as well. For Tanner Shifter and Gab Chavez. Gab Chavez closes down that gap in the heat race. It becomes another all-out brawl for the finish between him and Tanner Shifter. And, same goes for all these. GT4 Pro, though, I think is going to be a bit of an interesting one. I think it's one of our calmest this year in terms of the numbers.
Jake's got that 17-point buffer. So he's probably, between him and Ethan, those are the two that have kind of like the biggest cushion right now for their championship hopes. Nick Bowen, Scott Fleming, though, really close battle for second. And then we got a tie for 5th, which is kind of a theme for GT4 apparently, between or a battle for 4th with Henry Garcia and Tim Mello.
It's gonna be a fun one. That tie for 4th is gonna be, I think, a cool one to watch
develop
and play out over the course of the next the next heat in feature. Let me see. Taking a look, getting through the last bit of our points here as we get into the GT4M category, and no less exciting than literally most of the other ones is Sean Sullivan and Levi Powell are at an 8-point gap.
Yeah.
Sorry, 7-point gap going into this final round.
Yeah. And because GT4AM tends to finish towards the lower order of GT4, the point spreads between them are a lot tighter, especially when you start getting from 4th on down.
Oh, yeah.
Sean Sullivan only 7 points ahead of Levi Powell. And Logan Branson needs to really have a good race and not have a DNF to hang on to 3rd, I think. And then we've got John Newman and Sean Harvey tied. So, I mean, we got good fights all up and down the order.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be just so busy as we look at the last piece of some of these drivers that have been around.
Yeah.
As we get into the tail end of qualifying here, we've
Yeah.
kind of been following a few of these drivers around. We have, I think, just a couple of minutes before we will actually go racing proper for the heat race. Taking a look at the qualifying times, what sticks out to you?
I mean, Nick Bowen on top right now seems like a pretty big deal in the battle for 2nd with Scott Fleming. I think that's a pretty big thing. Gab Chavez coming straight out of the gates, and Tanner Schiffner's got to find his way around Tommy Kogan to not let Gab get too far ahead. Robert Lewis in the 949 machine up into 4th. That's pretty crazy. And then in LMP3, we've got a nice cushion from Ethan, so he's got some pace around here. But then we've got like a 3/10 and a 2/10 gap between Benjamin O'Shea and Jaden Ledbetter.
Yeah, I'm super curious how much time Jaden Ledbetter can find here in the closing stages.
He's got to find some.
Yeah. It's going to be the thing that sets him up to make this final race, the full feature race here in just a moment. I think a very interesting one as we get into it for the LMP3 Pro category.
Yeah.
To disclude the likes of Jack Wilkins as well as Nathaniel Baker, who are also only a few tenths away from each other, with Herbert Pineda Sr. going to be cutting in between them, which will make things a little bit interesting as they get to be kind of nose to tail at the gridding of this.
I think another thing worth noting for the folks at home is I suspect we are going to be getting some drive-throughs. The off-track count has been quite high in free practice, and in qualifying, it is also quite high. So I suspect we will be seeing drive-through penalties, especially because it is a 2-hour feature race.
Yeah, especially right there, you see Jaden Ledbetter getting off track, killing his final attempt at getting a lap done. He's going to pull it over to the side of the road and wrap up his qualifying attempt. Take a look also a little bit further back in the GT4s. One thing will be fun to watch on, we'll probably get a little more onboard action when we're on track this evening, because I think it'd be important one to watch. It's going to be the multi-class traffic through these S's in particular is going to be interesting. And
it's going to be pretty brutal.
I hope it doesn't turn into too much of a bloodbath, but I worry that it will. Also, the tied lap times for Sean Sullivan and Colin Johnson, GT4 AM as well as GT4 Pro. And Sean Sullivan putting a little bit of a gap between himself and Levi Powell here as we wrap up qualifying. And we'll get to a grid here in just a moment. Get to see where these drivers are going to start their 20-minute feature, 20-minute heat race.
Yeah.
And
then get buckled up for the 2-hour.
Yes. 2-hour endurance to round out this evening. I think I'm going to need to grab a bite to eat between these two. We'll find out. Anyway.
Yeah.
Kicking off this final heat race of the season, Ethan Hamlet once again on the pole position alongside Luke Patrick in second. Benjamin O'Shea going to round out P3, the podium with Jaden Ledbetter alongside him in fourth. Very little time between those two drivers. It'll be interesting to see who wins out that lap, that dash to the start-finish line, with Gian Cardoso and Garrett Hillman going to round out take the LMP3M podium. English is failing me today. Forgive me. And then Jack Wilkins, Herbert Pineda going to round out the fourth row of that grid with the likes of Nathaniel Baker, Alan Love, and Paul Miles going to round out the 11-car LMP3 grid. Phil, do you want to take us through the GT3s?
Absolutely. So Gab Chavez on top Anthony Newman, Tommy Kogan making a buffer to Tanner Schiffner. Tanner's got his work cut out for him if he wants to try and stay ahead of Gab. Before we go into the feature race, Robert Lewis ended up in 5th alongside Tyler Torville, with Kyle Potter and Ryan Buchanan 7th and 8th, respectively. Then we have Matt Pyle, Christopher Blue, followed by Eduardo Zamora and Ryan Nolan.
Ryan Nolan, the 12th car on that grid. GT4s. Going to start off with Nick Bowen once again, leading off just ahead of Scott Fleming. Only a 10th and some change between those two drivers. Henry Garcia and Jake Hewitt going to round out the second row of the grid. Corey Lobner going to just get into the top 5 with Sean Sullivan taking the GT4 AM lead, with Colin Johnson being the buffer between him and Levi Powell, who's going to be in second there, rounding out those drivers. As we take a look at the last part of this grid, with Logan Branson, Tim Mello, John Newman, and William Lewis rounding out the 12-car GT4 grid. 12 cars in GT4, 12 cars in GT3, 11 in LMP3. Pretty even split. It's pretty cool to see.
Yeah. It's I think it's going to be interesting. It's traffic management around here is just going to be so brutal, though. Like that's going to be the thing. Actually, can you pull up the track map? I was about to say we're about to see just how interesting it's going to be with these cars and how they get distributed on a track like this. Technical circuit. It's going to be. It's just going to be interesting. I can't wait to see the first time we get the LMP3s through the GT4s. It's going to be real spicy.
It certainly will be. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to see as well how much the GT3s, the pace differential, I think is a little bit higher here. I'm trying to remember exactly where those numbers were for the quali. So a little bit more power for a little bit faster lap time for the LMP3s. I think just get a little more downforce there, especially in the S's, to really leverage the speed over those GT3 counterparts. Yeah.
The other thing that's going to be interesting around here, I mean, I suspect with the lap times, we're probably still going to have, probably not anybody's going to be able to run like a short stop. Strategy to try and see if they can get to the end of the race, maybe save some time in the pits. It's just tricky with the 45% fuel capacity on the GT cars. So, but with the 2-hour race, we are looking at probably what would you say? Maybe 3 stops.
I think it'd be a pretty solid 3-stopper. I'm trying to figure out whether they'll need a splash at the end though, and I don't think that's going to be the case. Even with 45%, that should take them to about 30 minutes or so. Paul Miles, I think, is having some issues with his wheelbase.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
We'll have to see whether or not he can get those sorted. He's on track now, so we'll see if that actually sticks. It's going to make for an interesting start to this race, given the gap between the GT3s and the GT4s, which I think is where that driver's going to come around as they get set to go racing. And Ethan Hamlet's going to lead them off as he peels away from Luke Patrick and Benjamin O'Shea. Going to get a great run down there. Gian Cardoso not going to give any room to Jaden Ledbetter alongside as these LMP3s start firing down into turn number 1. Ethan Hamlet getting a good way in there. Too wide through there. It's going to push Luke Patrick out way wide. He's going to keep that car going the right direction, keeps it out of trouble. But he's going to drop from the beginning of the pack to the tail end of it. He's going to have to pick up the tail end of those cars and work his way back through as the GT3s fire into turn number 1.
Turn 1, super sketchy, especially on cold tires, going side by side. We got cars going side by side into turn 3. That's pretty gnarly. And down into the S's, they're going to hopefully start zippering up soon, and there we go.
Finally are able to do so. GT4s also diving into the S's here. They're a little bit kinder as they get through turn number 3 there. Had a little bit of time to get through the runoff. And Luke Patrick's going to already work his way back up into P3. Anthony Newman going to have to sway spots to Tommy Kogan. Tanner Schiffner, in the meanwhile, trying to get around these two, and that's opened up a huge gap. I say huge, relatively, a second and a half. This early on in GT3s, I think is going to be pretty interesting to see where that escalates to, especially with Robert Lewis right behind Tanner Schiffner, trying to give him a little bit of a bump draft in the process.
Yeah. Tight racing as we get ready to go down into the chicane. Potentially 3 wide.
Not quite.
No,
Looked like
not
it, though.
quite. Robert Lewis
Oh,
right
Tommy
there.
Cogan's going to spin.
Oh, I think Beltan might have snuck through, but I think Kyle
Tyler
Potter got
Tourville
collected.
Has the yeah, both of them did.
So we probably have some cars that are dealing with some damage and a wing already broken on Tommy Cogan's Lambo as well as Kyle Potter.
Yeah, both are missing a wing. Kyle Potter going to dive into the pit lane there. Luke Patrick kind of restart that car back up because amongst all that is going to be Herbert Pineda and Luke Patrick getting into it, and that's going to be at the bottom of the S's here. And watch Herbert Pineda just get a little unsettled here. I think Luke Patrick going to get collected in the process. Yeah, it has nowhere to go. Loses it, trying to not.
Oh, but he may have kept it out of the wall.
Good, yes.
Yep, both cars keep it straight out of the wall. So, other than Cook tires, they're going to be fine.
Well, that's definitely giving the huge amount of points in the favor of Jaden Ledbetter if he can keep that car even going the right direction. But he's not willing to let Benjamin O'Shea go without a fight either.
So elbows out in round number 10.
Gosh, this three-way
and
fight.
we're in the heat race. They're gonna be doing this for 2 hours.
Yep,
everybody.
Oh boy, Jack Wilkins and Nathaniel Baker gonna swap positions as well. Another one of the fights that we have to keep an eye on in the closing stages here. Daniel Baker needs a good finish ahead of Jack Wilkins in order to get good points to set him up for a pretty even fight into the feature race. If we stop the timer now, that'd be a great way to do it, but we still have 17 minutes, just under. Is Tommy Cogan going to join those drivers going to the pit lane who have had damage early on? Let's take another look at what happened there. We saw the spin out of Tommy Cogan. I didn't see what happened that caused Kyle Potter and Tyler Tourville to have issues.
I think they were just collected.
I think they were too.
So, yeah.
Kyle Potter tries to avoid running into Tyler Tourville. Hold on. I'm trying to figure out. Let's right along here. Yeah. Goes to avoid. Okay, he goes to avoid running into a slowing down Robert Lewis, and then collects Tyler Tourville amongst all that. Is what that looks like to me.
Yeah.
Jack Wilkins.
Just unlucky.
Yeah.
Just unlucky. Like especially the top of the hill right before the penultimate corner is just it's tough. Oh no. That is that's Corey Lobner, and that Mustang has a missing front end.
That is also a meatball flag for that driver for those front tires. Catches the curb, loses it there. Has a big chunt there. What happens? Is that all that it needed to get a... Okay.
That's all it needed to get the meatball.
All right.
Yeah.
This is where we pick it up there.
Turn number 5. Turn number 5 is deceptive. That car will claim some souls. Mark my words. It is. I've raced numerous Petit Le Mans here, and it is had cars go to the pits for repairs on turn 5 on more than one occasion.
Ooh, Robert Lewis gonna be in the wall.
What happened there?
Let's take a look. It looks like it just got on the power too early. We'll see if that's the case. There's a rotation. There's the power down, and that is.
Yep.
Oh.
So, I mean, he might be able to sneak out without having to take that in for repairs. I'm just checking right now. It doesn't look he doesn't have the meatball.
No. The car looks okay. He still has a front bumper fully attached, so I think lucked out in the way that damage applied to it. You see a little bit of dent on that front.
Yeah, front right side, I think.
Front right side where that car got hit in, but it's so subtle. You have to be looking for it.
I think it was a glancing blow, but yeah, this fight's getting hot.
Yeah, Baker had a faster lap this time by, but still has to catch up half a second to Jack Wilkins. Garrett Hillman just cruising behind these two drivers. These fights have broken up pretty quickly.
Yeah, this is going to be, it's very similar to other road circuits that we'll see in America where the field is going to spread out and distribute pretty quickly. The thing to keep your eye on, though, is especially when we get into the feature races, how people are going to react to multi-class traffic and when navigating the pits, and the LMP3s are catching the GT4s at a very unopportune time. Oh, he throws it on the inside into turn 3 and then down into the S as they go. And John Newman, witness protection. Looks like the check cleared.
It did indeed. Those that are asking about the general standings and where everything is going into tonight as they get into multi-class traffic further.
Yep.
Oh, it's going to be a busy time as well. Tommy Kogan, one of the many drivers in GT3 that had issues early on, also trying to work through all this. What's the onboard look like? Because I got to imagine it's a pretty fun one.
Oh, yeah. This is a good shot. Getting ready to go into turn number 10.
10A and 10B.
Yep. And then turn 11 here, the crest of the hill. This is where we saw the accident that took Tommy Kogan and Tyler Torville out of commission. Now he's going to try and clear some traffic before he hits turn 1. Scott Fleming's going to leave the door open.
I think Scott Fleming didn't want to be a part of that nonsense if he could avoid it.
Yeah.
Oh, good catch out of Jaden Ledbetter there. Just fast hands. He's going to catch up back up to Benjamin O'Shea, who's being patient. I think the number one thing in the S is if you're in one of these prototypes or faster classes working through traffic is just allowing them to work through the S's in front of you and get the good exit on turn number 5. Nick Bowen going to repeat the same endeavor Scott Fleming did as well.
Turn 7, 8, and then...
Oh, Gian Cardoso.
Oh.
What happened here? Both
Not
of them
sure,
go
but
off track. Let's take a look. It's into the braking
Okay,
zone of
getting
7.
ready.
Oh, I think he just overshot.
Oh, he just...
Oh.
Yep.
Gets...
Unfortunate. Just a little too ambitious, I think, in the braking zone there.
Yeah, I think...
brave.
And also a little brave, and then I just don't think broke enough early enough, and then try to overcorrect it and locked it up in the process. Which does put Nathaniel Baker back in front of Jack Wilkins in that battle for 5th.
Yeah.
And Luke Patrick clawing his way up as well, getting around the LMP3 AM drivers.
Got a bit of a recovery. He's going to have to work his way through.
Meanwhile, in GT4 Pro, as Matt Pyle's working his way through, another one of the drivers that seemed to have an incident. Trying to figure out what happened there. Oh, there's the crash. Let's see what happened to Matt Pyle here. It's going to be coming down into 10A, 10B. Gets the entry right. This is where we saw Tommy Kogan spin earlier. Oh, just too much.
Yep. Just that patch of dirt. It's that patch of dirt on the outside of 10B.
Yeah.
That'll catch you.
He is working his way around.
Yep. So Jake Hewitt right now, trying to catch up to Nick Bowen. Nick Bowen taking advantage of the buffer right now. I mean, that's a sizable 3-second buffer to Scott Fleming right now.
Oh, man.
And it looks like that was an interesting
Matt
spot.
Pyle once again. Same spot. Same mistake.
He's going to bring it into the pits. He might hit the wall too many times.
Whoa, Jaden Ledbetter going to also go around. Perfect 360. Keeps it out of the wall.
Yep. Got to get it going straight
But
again.
now,
and now he's going to fall down the order. And that's going to give Luke Patrick an opportunity.
Yeah, to open up that lead for second. We are over halfway. 9 minutes left to go. Where drivers finish here are going to impact things. Jaden has to find the 2 seconds required to get back up to where Jack Wilkins and Luke Patrick are. Luke Patrick gonna lean on the door. Jack Wilkins gonna have to give it up for the moment.
So he battles back on the exit of 10B going into 11. He's all over the gearbox.
Yeah, he's not letting it go lightly. He has his own
You know what? I
fight.
bet that was a slowdown.
Might have been.
Because that was a really fast pass that was executed. I think it might have been a slowdown that caught Nathaniel Baker. Or excuse me, caught Jack.
Yes. Update on Milo. He will be back for the main race.
Unfortunate that he had a equipment failure right before, but glad to see that he's gonna work through it and get to the feature.
Multi-class
try and
traffic.
Take the fight to gonna try and what is it? Who's he fighting with? He's fighting with Garrett. Garrett, yeah, he's gonna try and take the fight to Garrett.
Yeah, given the nature of the finish positions of these, Garrett Hillman going to have a pretty big advantage that Miles going to have to work through.
Yeah. I'm just looking right now through the GT4 standings right now. GT4 AM in particular. Levi Powell has quite a gap on Sean Sullivan.
Yeah, I was trying to figure this one out. I don't think I quite got an answer on it.
Yeah, Levi Powell has maybe enough spaces right now to potentially close the gap down to a tie going into the feature.
Yes.
It's close. It's close.
Yeah.
Actually, it might be. Actually, he just got around Corey Lobner, so I think Sean Sullivan might have reduced that by a point. So we may be looking at like a 6-point difference. So he may be leading Levi by like a point going into the feature.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So that's going to be a pretty interesting one then, especially given that Sean Sullivan had an incident early on in this. While we were looking at the Tommy Kogan incidents early on, let's see what happened here, because this is where how Sean Sullivan is at the end of the GT4 AM field. Just got past Corey Lobner. Same spot we saw Corey Lobner spin a couple of laps later. Almost identical spins. Like you say, that corner going to catch so many drivers out. And just getting too much on the curbing there is an easy way to rotate these GT4s in particular.
Yeah. And just looking at some more of the data right now, another close fight right now. Henry Garcia does have a cushion to Tim Mello right now, with Colin Johnson currently sitting 5th overall in GT4.
Yeah, that he does. But Tim Mello also working through multi-class traffic amongst all this. Eduardo Zamora and Christopher Blue within a couple seconds of each other, fluctuating pretty heftily.
Yep. Ethan Hamlet with a 16-second gap on Benjamin O'Shea. So Ethan's just working his way through to lock this puppy up. And looking now, so Nathaniel Baker currently 9/10 now, a second ahead of Luke Patrick. He's got a 5-second buffer to Jack Wilkins. And there goes
backwards Gab Chavez.
And that right there will cost somebody big time in the points. That is a broken rear suspension, and the car is toast. What happened?
Let's see here.
Oh.
Nope. That is how that car ends up there.
Was that netcode? Like, what happened? Did you see how he moved, and then Gab's car entered the other car, and then the accident started? Like,
all right. Let's see if we got any other good angles to take a look at this from.
So I think giving him the squeeze, like he's not going to let him over, but Gab, but when Gab like gets into the side of him, he just like sticks to him and then gets launched into the wall.
Yeah, that definitely looks like some netcode helped that scenario.
So with that is going to bring that battle into something pretty close here, with Tommy Kogan. Now, where is with Gab going to the pits? Tommy Kogan's going to get some decent. Well, no, actually, I think he's only going to get one more point now that I think of it, because I keep forgetting they're not lined up with the GT4s. They don't share points. So Tanner Schiffner going to be building a bit of a gap to Gab Chavez going into the feature race. And Tommy Kogan, let's see here. Where's Tommy at? Tommy's really hurting in his battle with Tyler Torville right now. And Anthony Newman, actually, where's Anthony at? Anthony Newman is just absolutely gobbling up the points.
Yeah, he certainly is. Given he just had a lot of consistency late in this series. And he's just going to be able to kind of keep on building this gap a little bit further. GT3 field pretty spread out as a result of all these incidents. The LMP3 field, however, sees no change in its craziness as Jaden Ledbetter keeps ahead of Garrett Hillman in his effort to get back around and get back into a fight with Luke Patrick.
Jaden trying to recover as many spots as he can. Less than 3 minutes.
Man, yeah. Just kind of looking a little bit around, seeing what else there is to kind of close our heat race thoughts on. With 2 minutes left to go, about 2 more laps, including this one. Garrett Hillman almost making the look, throwing a bit of a dummy. Logan Branson just hanging out, having a pretty stellar race as a result. Simon finds himself in second in AM category.
Looking right now at some other close battles. I mean,
oh boy,
they're not super close. I mean, with Jake Hewitt getting around Nick Bowen, that brings Scott Fleming a little bit closer. Scott Fleming's going to have to deal with this LMP3 traffic, though, as they get ready to go into turn 10.
It's a big question. Who's the latest on the brakes? The answer is Luke Patrick. Benjamin O'Shea going to lift up, let him through. Come around for the final lap for these drivers. Oh, and he's going to push the envelope there. Nick Bowen narrowly keeps it on track.
So with Logan Branson crashing, that's going to drop him down the order on the points. So that's going to bring... actually, we don't have Adrian with us tonight. So I think Logan's going to get a bit of a reprieve. Might be able to hang on to that third-place finish in LMP3 AM.
He does have to, I think, keep going the right direction.
And he has no wing.
No wing. I just was talking about him having a decent race. Apparently my commentator's curse is alive and well. Oh, locks up the brakes. How does he lose the wing?
It's a good question.
Oh, because he spins it out? No, that's... he backs
and
up.
He backs up too far.
Just a little too far. Oh.
Unfortunate.
But, like you say, pretty easy one there to get back into it. Also, a bit of a reprieve there. As long as he finishes, he'll increase that gap between himself. And amongst all that chaos, Ethan Hamlet has found himself successfully
in the wall
at the end of the race. He's done. I think he's been hanging around beer league, I think, a little too much.
Yeah.
Doing its usual, let me just crash into things. Yep.
Yep, just
there it is.
Throws his car apart. But with the race finish, Luke Patrick coming in second, Benjamin O'Shea in third, with Nathaniel Baker fourth.
Jack Wilkins fifth.
Yeah.
Jane Ledbetter in sixth. And we get the likes of those two drivers. Anthony Newman going to lead off. GT3 still working his way back around to start-finish line. Coming down that backstretch. Tanner Schiffner as well, looking to kind of keep himself a pretty solid and stable second place. In the GT4 field sees Jake Hewitt continue to extend his lead ahead of Nick Bowen and Scott Fleming. Levi Powell going to really close down the gap between himself and Sean Sullivan. But I think Sean Sullivan still has a few points. There's only 2 cars in between them, or 1 car in between them.
Yeah.
Going in favor of Levi. So I think it'll be a closer battle than we initially anticipated to see how well Sean Sullivan can try to keep ahead.
Indeed. Yeah, I think with kind of how the heat race kind of lines stuff up, it's going to make for some interesting battles going into the feature. And again, I think with the traffic situation, I think there's still a lot to play for a number of people in this race tonight.
Certainly the case. Let's take a quick look at results for these drivers. And it'll end up being also where we see these drivers start their races. Ethan Hamlin going to come home the winner in LMP3 Pro, with Luke Patrick in second, Benjamin O'Shea, Nathaniel Baker, as well as Jack Wilkins rounding out the top 5. Jaden Lembetter, Gian Cardoso, and Herbert Bernardez Sr., the 8 drivers in LMP3 Pro. It's going to take home to the checkered flag of the heat race. We'll see them grid in about this order with a couple of LMP3 AM drivers intersplicing them. I think it's going to make for a pretty spicy finish. If Luke Patrick can kind of keep the consistency built over the course of that heat race, I think we'll see him have a pretty solid one. Points-wise, I'm pretty sure that puts the gap between those 2 drivers well over, I believe, 10 points.
Yeah.
As you get 12 points for P2 in the heat race versus the 5 points in there. So 7 points added to 3 creates a 10-point gap.
Yep.
Which means the race finish is going to see Jaden have to at least be in the podium spots. And I don't actually know that this mathematically can happen unless Luke Patrick doesn't finish the race at P11, where he will have less points, less than 20 or 26 points or less.
Yeah. I think it might not be in the cards, but at the same time, I'm kind of interested to see how the order finishes, because if there's not an opportunity to necessarily gain a place, there is an opportunity to be a spoiler.
That is true. LMP3M. Only 3 drivers.
Yep. So with Garrett Hillman finishing where he did and Alan Love further back in the order, I do think it's going to provide an opportunity for Paul Miles to maybe try and move in, but Paul is going to have a pretty good race. Like, he's going to have to finish well ahead of Garrett Hillman. He's going to have to finish ahead with a number of cars in between for him to have a shot at this. So I think it's going to come down to Garrett, Paul having a really good race and Garrett running into trouble. But Garrett positioned himself pretty well going into the feature race, so we'll see how it works out.
Certainly is going to be, I think, one to keep an eye on. Maybe we'll see how this shakes up in the closing stages. GT3, I think, is going to be one. It's going to be super interesting to see. The math states that Tanner gets 12 points and extends his lead over Gab Chavez to, I believe, just over 10 points.
Yeah. So again, it's another one of those things where I think Gab's kind of like running out of runway, but again, with the length of this race and the traffic management that they're going to have to do, if Gab can just like pull off an absolute blinder, he'll still be in it, and then it's all down to whether or not Tanner hits some bad luck or not.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Gab Chavez hit bad luck earlier this evening with the net code there between himself
but Tanner has been incredibly consistent all season, so I don't know if that's going to happen. And
especially because I'm taking a look at chat there, and Jaden saying that Gab has dipped. I get the feeling that may be the end of that battle in the GT3 category.
Yeah,
a lot of
unfortunate.
Yeah, the cockpit views aren't favorable. I would have to imagine they may not be the most favorable, because they definitely looked a little bit rough.
Yeah.
So GT4, I think, is going to be the calmest one we saw all evening so far. Jake Hewitt having a pretty good one. Most of those drivers having pretty solid races. Corey Laubner, unfortunate break there, but has plenty of time to recover here into the feature race. We'll talk about GT4 AM as we're getting these cars gridded up, and we're going to be going racing here in just a little ways. Time for 2 whole hours. If I can hit the buttons. Levi Powell, I think, coming home the winner there, closes down that gap with a pretty solid points haul.
Yeah.
Over Sean Sullivan. To make that,
I
think, a 3-point gap between those two drivers.
Yeah. It's gotten a lot closer, so it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be definitely a race to watch in GT4, both Pro and AM. So pretty excited to see how that one works out. Again, with us getting ready to get started here, cars are going to start rolling away. I'm pretty sure people are going to try and give themselves a pretty good gap before they hit the green light. But yeah, we're going to be probably mixing up the traffic within like the first, I want to say, 10 minutes. So it's going to be interesting. And then that's when in my opinion, that's when the race really starts.
It's going to be, I think, a pretty big one. Seeing Paul Miles peel his way off and get through the field to rejoin the LMP3 category. Now he's got his wheelbase all put together. Be cool to see where these drivers finish up. I think one of the ones I want to see if he has a bit of a comeback here, Paul Miles, in that battle with Garrett Hillman.
Hats off to Milo for not punching out just because he had some bad luck. It's been a good season. We've had real good consistency out of a lot of the field. I mean, we are finishing the race with 33 drivers on track. Like that is, I think that's pretty good. Like we've had races where we've had upwards of like 50 to start. But you know, numbers always tend to trickle down. But the fact that we got like 33 cars on track for the finale, I think is pretty awesome. And even in GT4, when you look at like GT4, pretty even spread between Pro and AM. LMP3 AM probably is the most underrepresented class with only 3 cars on track. But still, they've got plenty to play for with Paul Miles and Garrett Hillman relatively close.
Yeah, it's going to be, I think, a pretty fun one to see how it ends up in all of these classes. It's also super exciting and super, I think, really cool to see, like you said, the 33 drivers at the end of the season. And we had 50-something at the start of the season. I think when we get into the next season of Sports Car Series, I can't imagine that's going to change at all in terms of how our driver count usually has been so far. And if the maths appropriately, it'll continue that way.
Yeah. Real quick before we get to the start of the race, because we're LMP3 is about to come around the penultimate corner. Actually, we're right there, so the safety car is about to peel off. But I'm just kind of curious. Like this has been a pretty exciting season. I'm really kind of hoping to see what the track list is going to be. And here we go.
Yeah, we're about to go green. So I would love to talk about that. And we'd have time here over the next 2 hours to talk about that a little bit more. These drivers, however, have racing to get to. Turn number 1 is going to see all these drivers pile on in the LMP3 category. Everybody pretty much as they were at the start, with the likes of Jack Wilkins fending off Jaden Ledbetter. GT3 start equally as calm and collected. Anthony Newman getting a great run. Tanner Schiffner going to tuck in right behind. Ryan Beauchesne going to keep up in 3rd there. Keep ahead of Christopher Blue, as well as Kyle Potter and the rest of that GT3 field. They pile into turn number 3. Black flag out of Tyler Torville. What for? Is that jumping the start, maybe?
Maybe.
We'll have to take a look. Jake Hewitt leading off GT4. GT4 equally pretty calm starts. I think they know they have 2 hours
all around.
2 hours to work out where they want to be. Plenty of opportunity. Sorry, hour and 40 minutes. Not quite 2 hours. But still.
Oh, yeah. Hour and 40. But the thing that I would say here is it's an endurance race, man. You could really you can't win a feature race this long, but you sure can. You can't win it on lap 1, but you can sure lose it.
Yes.
So everybody kind of keeping calm at the start, I think, is a pretty good sign. We did see a little bit of shuffling with Ryan Nolan kind of dropping down the GT4 or GT3 order.
Yeah, he had a big off track there.
Robert Lewis, Tommy Cogan, Kyle Potter.
Kyle Potter doesn't want to wait.
Just absolutely going after it. So now Robert Lewis kind of getting hung out on the inside on the suboptimal line, but manages to hang on to the spot and just slots in behind Tommy Cogan as they get ready to go into the S's.
Well, let's take a look from the top of Gian Cardoso's LMP3, just the train of cars for the LMP3 category that are trailing down the backstretch. We'll see them all dive in turn number 10 here, 10A and 10B. I think it'd be a fantastic kind of ride along here for a moment. We're going to get to see what a lap looks like kind of in the vacuum, but you get to see kind of how it feels like to be in the train of cars all working their way through as they get done with their second lap of this hour and 40-minute drive.
Through the final corner now, down the start-finish straightaway. I've wrecked on this straight before. The joke amongst my team was this was called Phil's Corner.
Whoa, speaking of wrecking on this corner, that's going to be Nathaniel Baker on the wall there.
What happened there?
Yeah, what happened indeed? Let's go find out. Take a time off that. Misses the braking opportunity. Oh, just breaks a little bit too much in the grass.
Yeah, he's on the grass, and then the car just snapped around, and that's going to put him at a disadvantage. But you know,
that car looks like
let me check it. Yeah, the car is having some problems, but I don't see a meatball flag.
I don't either. That left rear is going to be a little bit bent in up until...
Yeah, he's going to have some steering problems. I wonder if he's going to go in and get the fast repair.
That's going to break up that fight as well. Yeah, you can see how much he's understeering in those corners. Definitely one that's not happy with the way that left rear is angled. Jaden Ledbetter going to lean on the door and get a pass done over Jack Wilkins. Jack Wilkins looking to return the favor as quickly as possible.
Garrett Hillman in the background.
See it on the bottom of the screen.
Ooh, way too much curb on corner entry, and that leaves him very vulnerable as they get ready to go into turn 5.
Yeah, it's going to really require a good exit, though, on the braking zone. So getting the first bit of lap traffic, John Newman.
Yep, John Newman already gone off track once.
What a handful
and
of drivers.
The LMP3s are catching him, and everyone pray for John Newman.
The witness protection money seems to have been paid so far. Gian Cardoso
waiting for the last minute. Just wanting to give everyone, including John Newman, heart palpitations. Oh, man, this is going to be crazy going into turn 10. And Kyle Potter is missing a front end.
Yeah, I just want to take a look at this because this one was a battle that looked interesting. And he is missing a front end. These two still dueling it out, much like these two are still dueling out. Jack Wilkins going to pank the pass on Jaden Ledbetter. Really pulling the Formula One camera angles here. To where right as the action pops off in one area, I pick up a different one.
So I believe we're going to be close to twilight when we get to the end of this race, but yeah, temperatures are going to cool down on the track, probably going to reduce some tire degradation, but people are probably going to have to take tires.
I think there is.
Yeah, it's just there's so much degradation on this track, even normally.
Yeah. I gotta imagine it's probably gonna be about halfway through this race. The second pit stop, we'll see a few drivers probably take tires, or they'll split
right
it
now.
up.
Yeah, Right now, I'm not seeing anybody that looks like they're going for a clear-cut fuel save at the moment. Because even like, I mean, maybe Paul Miles, he's about 2 seconds off the pace. So maybe Paul Miles going for a different strategy, trying to mix it up, maybe just doing something a little bit different because he's got to do something.
Oh boy, Garrett Hillman gonna be one of the first to end up with a pretty serious off track, it looks like. Trying to get through multi-class traffic. I think just catches. Oh boy, has a brief moment, catches it, and lets the overseer take him out. So.
And that gives Paul Miles the opportunity to get around him. And he's got Alan Love as a buffer. So Garrett Hillman going to have to take the battle back to Paul Miles here. Although I think if they finish in this order, Garrett Hillman would still take the title home.
Yeah, Paul Miles is going to have to get some LMP3 Pro drivers in between him and Garrett Hillman in order for that to end in his favor. Robert Lewis. Gonna be
he's all over Christopher Blue.
Looking to make the pass on Christopher Blue.
Raced with Beltan here many times. Definitely somebody that I want to have in the car. He's been racing the Maka all season, taken to the car quite well. Christopher Blue's been in the Corvette the whole season, and I think this is his second season actually in the Corvette.
I think so as well.
So, yeah.
So cool to see. I think a lot of the development we've seen on some of these drivers undergo over the past couple of seasons, such as, we talk about a lot on this season in particular, but Jayon Cardoso and the consistency that he's managed to build with that LMP3 Pro drive. Robert Lewis late on the brakes, really going to push on that door. Christopher Blue leaves him enough space to make for an awkward run down to the start-finish line.
Oh, wow.
And I think Christopher Blue is going to end up causing a bit of a conundrum there as Kyle Potter is right alongside looking to make up the time.
With no front end.
Yeah, and that's going to make for...
Or is it no front end, or is it just a black bumper? I can't tell.
It's no front end. That one's missing, at least on my screen.
Yeah. Because I see the splitter, but... Oh, the splitter's there. But the rest of the bumper is gone.
Yes, the bumper is gone. The splitter is there. The bodywork, all the actual aero ducts are there, but they're pretty exposed as a result. And also, that Lamborghini of Tyler Turville is missing. I think it's... No, it just looks dark. I just forget that the Lamborghini has a very wild-looking rear bumper.
So we are approaching the first 10 minutes, and the field is getting pretty distributed.
You say
on
that.
Yeah.
Well, I think GT4 is going to be the exception to that rule that you're talking about. Field is getting distributed in a lot of places.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even in the GT3s, look at the GT3s. Like they got little small pockets of battles going on, but then there's like three. Christopher Blue slides. What a catch, man!
What a catch!
So Formula Drift title goes to Christopher Blue this year.
For sure. Fantastic recovery there. Keep that car out of harm's way, Tyler Turville. I think Christopher Blue's not going to be super thrilled with that. I was going to say, this 5-way battle for all the podium spots. Trying a good rear cam shot. Kind of do. Is this any better? Yeah, this one's decent too. See this train of cars all right behind Nick Bowen. As JQ is making the look down the inside. Oh. It's pushed out a little wide. That's going to cost him to be offline.
Oh. Scott's got the inside line.
Yeah, but over slows to make sure he doesn't run into Nick Bowen.
Yeah, going into turn 3 now. That's going to be interesting. And then both of them take a lot of curbs, so
Yeah, with the GT4s, especially after the rework of some of them, you have a lot of more room of curbing you can take than you could in the GT3 or the LMP3. It's a three-way fight for the bottom step of the podium. I think it's going to be pretty fun to watch for the rest, or just off the podium, excuse me, for 4 through 6.
yeah, Tim Mello trying to find his way around Colin Johnson so he can take the fight to Henry Garcia.
They have
in the battle for which Porsche will be fourth.
Out of 3 options.
This is some great action as we're going into the final corner.
Yeah, I love how much space they're keeping between each other to make sure they don't end up causing incidents. We saw a couple of those happen earlier on. GT3 traffic of the leader, Anthony Newman, going to really probably break this fight up at least for a little bit as he works his way through. I think it'll be a lot of fun to see the difference in speed and aerodynamics between a GT4 and GT3, where he is elected to kind of stick and keep a spot.
Good exit right there. Now he's going to blast down the short straightaway on the approach to turn 6. Or excuse me, 7 and 8. I love how, like, the most gentle corner around here at Road Atlanta is a corner. Ooh, Tyler Torville in the pits.
Jumped to pits along with Corey Lobner. That was right behind these drivers.
Something happened.
Yeah, let's see what happened. Corey Lobner was labeled as crashed. Goes to make the corner. Catches just a little too much curbing and then just gets punted, as does Tyler Torville by Kyle Potter. He's going to see
Kyle Potter with no front end. Like, is Kyle Potter still in it? Like, or is he just like...
He's still in the machine.
Yeah, he still has a machine. Front end has seen better days.
Yep.
He registered a Porsche. He will finish with a VW.
Get a couple blinking lights out of Logan Branson amongst all this. Has Tyler Torville with the meatball flag as a result of getting kind of punted into the wall. Levi Powell just got to lift and let out. Garrett Hillman going to get past Paul Miles again.
What a race so far.
Oh, man.
Robert Lewis hanging tough, trying to catch up to Tommy Kogan. He gets held up. Doesn't want to take Jake Hewitt out.
Daniel Baker around the outside as well from where he's trying to recover this drive in that early incident. Curious to see these 5 GT4 cars still within 2 seconds of each other.
Yeah.
Like, only Jake Hewitt is starting to build a little bit of a gap, and that's going to close back down as he gets held up in the S's by Ryan Beauchesne. It's going to give a great exit for Nick Bowen. See if he makes
Bowen,
a look.
Nose to tail. Excellent racing between these two right now, and Scott Fleming just right there.
Yeah, and Henry Garcia, and Tim Mello, and Colin Johnson.
Yep.
And to a lesser extent, Levi Powell, who's at the tail end of this. it is super cool to see the GT4s still in pretty close battling between each other. 10 minutes, 15 minutes in of this 1 hour and 40-minute race. Oh man,
It's
Luke
fascinating.
Patrick gonna interrupt just the slightest amount as he works his way through. Yeah, we're on board with the Mercedes GT4 as he works with multi-class traffic.
Yeah, this is a great section right here to go on board. Get to see the GT4s that do not have the same level of downforce that the GT3s or LMP3s have. But they do have the ability to just drive over all of this curbing.
Yeah.
I cannot see off tracks in my interface, but I bet we have collected quite a few already.
I don't know, because I also feel like a lot of these drives have been pretty conservative by comparison to what we saw in both the heat race as well as the practice prior. You know? This fight, one you talked about earlier, one that's going to be important on the championship standings, especially given the battle between them two in the heat race, which I think sees that gap swing in Henry Garcia's favor, is going to be one that only gets more interesting. Oh, fakes, kind of leans on the door, doesn't have enough speed to keep it open. Oh, Ryan Nolan trying not to run into these two drivers in that BMW GT3.
Whoa, that is pretty far out, but manages to keep it on track.
Yep.
And Gian Cardoso showing up.
As the multi-class action develops further. A lot of cars in the hairpin here. Not really a hairpin, but...
It is more than 90 degrees. So, it's close. Hairpin light. How about that?
Yeah. Daniel Baker trying to get clear of Anthony Newman. I think have to be patient, especially in the S's here. Get a good drive on the exit, either this corner or the hairpin. Speed really not that different. You can be able to leverage the outside drive though.
So just looking back through the battles now, so Nathaniel Baker, trying to see where is. So Nathaniel Baker had to pit pretty early on lap 3, I think, with some damage.
Right.
He's going to have to try and recover 26 seconds just to catch Alan Love. So that makes the fight with him and I think the fight between him and Jack Wilkins is pretty much going to sew up if it stays in this sort of order. Luke Patrick has a buffer right now to Jaden of 4 seconds. No. More than that. Sorry, it collapsed P2 to P5. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's a little bit more than that right now in Luke's favor. And to your point, the GT4s from Nick Bowen on down.
This battle, I think, is going to be the one we're watching a lot of tonight, as these 6 drivers continue to fight each other for the bottom step of the podium, plus whatever else they can get their hands on.
Yep, pretty much.
Especially right along board with Henry Garcia. I think it'd be a great way to see, especially as multi-class is going to probably open it up back up just a little bit, but not a ton.
I think with the Tyler Torville retiring, I think Tommy Cogan's going to sew up third spot.
Yeah.
So really, the top spots, Tanner Schiffner. Although actually, I wonder how many points Tommy Cogan can get relative to Gab Chavez with him punching out during the heat race. So Tommy Cogan might sneak up into second with the points the way they are. We're gonna have to wait and see. Anthony Newman still just blitzing this track right now. Just picture of consistency.
Yeah, had such a good run in the heat race. Seems to have no change in the feature race.
Definitely has the points probably on board right now to leapfrog Tyler Torville to go up into fourth place. Kyle Potter right now, he's got some space between him and Anthony Newman, so I don't think he's gonna, unless something goes wrong for Anthony Newman. I don't know how much of a shot he's got.
Yeah.
Robert Lewis has actually got quite the buffer to Christopher Blue, so points are working out in his favor.
Curious as well. Yep, that's what I was thinking. Logan Branson getting a great run off the start. Find himself in second in class again. Levi Powell's excited about as that opens up another spot between himself and Sean Sullivan.
Yeah, Levi Powell getting even more space between him and Sean Sullivan. It's a pretty big deal for him.
I try to see how little I can do onboards, especially as it keeps getting darker. We'll have a desire to hop over to those onboards to be kind of the interesting way to view things. Battles right now, I'm going to really also honest with you, these 6 cars and the battle between Sean Sullivan, William Lewis, and GT4 AM. The rest of the field, it's going to be strategies and pit cycles, I think, at this point. Oh, no.
Yeah, strategy, pit cycles. Whoa, and that is a lot of cars broken on the exit of turn 7.
So that's when Nathaniel Baker, Sean Sullivan, William Lewis. Let's take a look here. Nathaniel Baker rear end spins, catches Sean Sullivan, and that's gonna pop off. So
Sean Sullivan getting hit, and calamity unfolds.
Yeah, that car that already has seen some damage earlier, already is gonna lose its rear cover, which means that car is gonna.
Go ahead.
I say that we're gonna likely see Nathaniel Baker work his way in to pit lane for the second time. I think, unfortunately, bring an end to his endeavors to get ahead of Jack Wilkins.
So into the pits now, Nathaniel Baker for a second time. Anthony Newman.
Interesting.
Pitting did something happen to Anthony?
No,
he's in early.
Don't think he is.
Is he doing the shortstop first?
That's what I'm curious if he is. 'Cause I see
maybe that's what he's doing. Yeah.
I just want to make sure he doesn't see anything of him getting an incident there, and the answer is no. He's already passed Nathaniel Baker for a position in overall category. Looks pretty standard fare. 20 seconds on the jacks, thereabouts.
Yeah. Pretty standard stop. Probably didn't take tires, just fuel. Positioning himself with, what is that going to be? 35 minutes, and then another 40 on top of that, so 75 minutes total that he's going to have to
manage into a 2-stop.
Work with?
Yeah. Doable, especially now that it's the math. I think is definitely in favor of that 3-stop, especially given that we see a lot of the GT3s in around this time anyway. That makes sense as well. 45% fuel capacity for those cars, about an hour on a full fuel stint when there is no restrictions, even that there is, however. I get the feeling that we'll see these drivers, I think, right on schedule there. We'll see them again at 50 minutes, probably then one final time at about an hour and 15 into this, and then it should make it easy final section there. Paul Miles is going to drive in from the LMP3 category, kind of be the first driver there. As the rest of the GT3 field just pours on in. Tanner Schiffner getting an extra lap out of all this. So he must be doing something fuel-wise.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's definitely some folks that are playing with fuel strategy.
I think it'd be remiss not
Ooh, that
to.
was right to the line. Interesting.
All right.
So longest pit stop so far on the Jacks was Robert Lewis. What'd you see?
I saw a black flag for Herbert Pineda, which I think is going to be for speeding in pit lane. But we'll see if that's the case.
Yeah, and that is going to... definitely mix things up.
See how long he's on the jacks relative to the rest of the field.
So even with a 22.25 on the jacks, I'm wondering if Beltan took tires, that 22.25, longer than the rest of the field, 56 in the pit lane travel the whole way through. Yeah, other folks had long stops too. Ryan Buchanan had a 1 minute stop. Christopher Blue had a 1 minute 6 second stop. I wonder if they're saving fast repairs, maybe getting some damage repaired manually.
Yeah. That is one of my curiosities. Given how long this pit stop is for Herbert Pineda, I'd have to imagine that is, in fact, for speeding on pit road and getting a 40-second stop and hold penalty, as you usually are one to get. Tim Mello, Levi Powell, two drivers that are able to get an extra lap of fuel out of the machines. The rest of the GT4 field, four of the six of those drivers in that big battle for podium spots on GT4 Pro's ladder is one that I think will be interesting to see how they shake out of the field. Colin Johnson, I think, going to get a pretty cool leapfrog amongst all that. Henry Garcia, I think, going to be the biggest driver that loses a little bit of time there. I think both those drivers, this is now going to split into two packs. Henry Garcia, Scott Fleming, as well as Colin Johnson. He's going to see them in a battle, as well as Levi Powell. And then these two guys, oh my gosh, nose to tail as they get into turn number 7 and 8. Oh, Bowen going to run wide. Take a look as well. Curious to see which Mello and Levi Powell shake out within this fight. Especially as the GT4 drivers, all six of them finally having a bit of a stretch because of the fuel strategy, taking them apart.
Yeah, fuel strategy in GT4. A little bit of a mixed bag.
Mm-hmm.
Wondering if Logan Branson took tires, Sean Sullivan as well, or they could have actually. They probably got repairs because they were really pushing it past 1 minute, 1 minute 9, 1 minute 10, respectively.
Yeah, I'm curious as well. Levi Powell in the same boat. Let's take a look here. Enter pits. Let's see. See if these drivers took tires, which is why they are a little bit longer. I get the feeling that's the case. Yeah, we see them up on the jacks compared to Tim Mello, who's right in front of him when this happens, but has a 10-second shorter pit cycle. See if he only took 2 tires instead of all 4. There it is. There's Tim Mello going down on the jacks. And Levi Powell stays up. I think he took all 4 tires, which is why that is an extra 10 seconds.
It is going to be a long one. We still have an hour and 10 minutes. Hour 9 minutes.
An hour and 10, yeah, just under an hour and 10 minutes, hour and 9 minutes.
So I'm looking with Scott Fleming cycling out behind Tim Mello. And that's I believe that's Colin Johnson in front of him. So
yeah, in front of Tim Mello.
That is definitely not what Scott was looking for, but the thing, I mean, there's still time in the race for him. Still got at least 2 more stops to go to get to the end. But definitely going to make this tricky for Scott. Tim Mello getting out ahead of Henry Garcia with the buffer is definitely what he wants.
Yeah, it's going to make that a little easier for him, and that points total is already kind of closing down. But with Henry Garcia, I think having the better finish in the heat race, that does mean Tim Mello had more work to do. Yeah, two points, I believe, is the gap that separates them two. So, given where they are right now, I think it's going to be a little bit more for Colin Johnson versus where he finishes versus where Henry Garcia finishes in the feature here, which means I think it will actually go back in the way of Tim Mello. All 4 of them are starting to close down on Colin Johnson, who's losing a little bit of time.
It's crazy, though. Even after the pit stop, they're still, like, so bunched up.
It's super fun. It's really cool to see, especially given the fact that the rest of the field pretty spread out.
Yeah. Yeah, this is what we're talking about at the start of the show. This kind of technical, punishing American road course format field tends to get spread out. But at the same time, too, with the mixed classes going into some of these technical corners and stuff, it just creates so much calamity.
Yeah.
I'm just looking again through the data right now. So Luke Patrick currently still holding 2 spots on Jaden. Paul Miles is caught back up to Garrett Hillman. Good pit stop out of Paul Miles early. Gained him some time relative to Garrett Hillman.
Yeah, it's only a game. It's going to be a war of attrition for those 2 drivers and who's got the better strategy in the long game at this point. Watching the gap between Jack Wilkins and Jaden Ledbetter slowly work its way down. Just under a second now. You see it on the top of the screen under the LMP3 category.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Take a look here as well. Jaden Ledbetter going to leverage that GT3 traffic to help him get caught back up.
Using the draft as much as possible. Moves the inside into turn 10A. Gets the move done.
Yeah, gets the arrow. Uses the arrow to make that an easy pass. Does have to regain the time lost there, but it's still less than it was. Taking a look as well. Tanner Schiffner, forever just kind of hanging in the rearview mirror of Anthony Newman. As Kyle Potter, I think, finds his way back on track to getting that Porsche GT3 repaired. Trying to get around Corey Lobner, who's in the middle of his own recovery race. Multi-class traffic gonna bring these 2 back together.
This is great on the approach. This long corner, because this is turn 9. To get ready to approach 10A, 10B, just a little too far from Ryan Nolan,
the gap.
but does get a great exit out of 10B. Slingshot through 11 and down the hill.
Continues to keep up, try to keep that gap around a second or closer. It's John Newman. He's going to join those drivers with issues that heads the pits. This is going to be why here. Take a look. As he just gets pushed out wide by Herbert Pineda. And that front left is history.
Yeah, that is going to be broken, jumping straight to the pits.
Gian Cardoso joining the drivers with issues. Seems like he got away with it. Let's take a look. Kind of want to ride on board for this one. Wonder if he did the turn 5 spin. Oh, yep, there it is. Keeps it out of the wall. Gets that car going back the right direction. As we get just past the halfway point, or sorry, the 1/3 distance point, not the halfway point. We got another 10 minutes for that. What's the mindset shift as we kind of work our way through the second of our fuel stints that we have here for tonight?
I mean, it's just finding your number, like hitting your number in terms of your pace. Trying to keep your nose clean. I think there's so many spots that you can gain on track with just making sure that you don't get involved in incidents, because there's just so many situations that you're trying to chase down. I mean, everybody's going to get involved in stuff, so it's just a matter of trying to keep your nose clean, hit your number. Hopefully you got your fuel strat planned, and you just try to be as consistent as possible.
Seems like a good way to go about it. Colin Johnson going to make the look. I'd have to agree that it's going to be a pretty, as well, endurance racing, consistency is key. And you say hitting your number. It's one we see Colin Johnson, one of his, I think, things that he excels at amongst all this craziness is usually developing a pretty good consistency and then getting a good rhythm to help improve over the course of this. You see that now as he overtakes Nick Bowen going into the turn number 1, holds on to it out of turn number 5. As Tim Mello also under fire from Scott Fleming right behind those two drivers. Tim Mello forcing the long way. Scott, that's going to hold up Jack Wilkins in the LMP3 category. Going to make it go 3 wide as they continue their drag race.
One other thing to talk about right now is with the traffic, the way that it's worked out in this race, like Luke Patrick is only 5 seconds away from Ethan Hamlin.
Wow.
And we're 40 minutes in. Like, Ethan Hamlin is not 16 seconds in the wind.
This late on the brakes for Scott Fleming, gets it stopped. Forced to go wide. Finally is getting the move done. Henry Garcia going to try to capitalize on it as well, because of that battle in the championship standings, really important for those two drivers. Ethan Hamlin only being 5 seconds ahead.
Go ahead.
Is wild, though.
Yeah. Luke Patrick really. I'm wondering if Ethan's kind of like backing off of the pace a little bit. He's in the 14s, low 14s, but I'm wondering if he's backing off the pace a little bit and just playing it conservative. I was going to ask you, sir, what has been your big sticking point for this race so far?
I think it's going to be the thing I think we've talked about a few times this season. Number one, I think it's going to be interesting to see. There's a few moments that I'm curious what the stewarding room thinks. I'm curious as well. It's one of this race, as well as a lot of races in the back half of the season, seem very much pit strategy is the name of the game, and really capitalizing on multi-class traffic and knowing how to sort through it easily. I think it's such a huge part of being successful in these races, and it seems to be showing more and more as these cars and these drivers get both faster and more consistent as the season goes on, especially as we get into the new season. I get the feeling it's going to be even more, consistency is such a huge part of who we see be successful day in and day out. So getting to see who's really building that consistency and getting to the ability to kind of show off that speed is such a fun part of this one. Tim Mello had to go wide, gonna allow Henry Garcia to be in the fight, but not quite enough. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think. No, I think those are all good points. I think the thing that has kind of stuck out for me this season in particular is, we have had some really consistent drives out of people. I mean, it's not necessarily showing in some of the results right now. Gian Cardoso in particular, I know he's down out of the top 5, but Gian's had a very consistent season. Anthony Newman out of nowhere has just been kind of on top of GT3 in a way that has been really surprising. Jake Hewitt has been incredibly consistent. And Levi Powell joining us late. Doesn't even have the same number of starts as Sean Sullivan, and he finds himself at the top of GT4 AM right now. It's just been so interesting how consistent drivers have really been able to make huge inroads into setting themselves up for good championship results.
Yeah, it's super cool to see. It's super fun to see as well the kind of hard work they do of being consistent and showing up and getting to the race finishes pay off, especially after these 10 rounds. It's been a longer season in terms of the number of race weeks we've had since the start of it. And when we get a schedule, I think it'll be very cool to see if this trend continues of having, 10 race rounds.
Yeah, the 10 race round season was actually it's interesting how it just felt so. I mean, we've been doing this for a while. We've been doing this since what? Middle of January?
Yeah, say middle of January up until now, early May, and it's been, I think, a pretty busy first season. I'm curious to see if we go the next 6 months over season number 2, or if it's a shorter season.
Yeah, I'm going to be very interested to see what the summer season looks like. But I'm very excited because, I mean, to be honest, like another 10-round season, I mean, that puts us like right into like right before the holidays. I think that could be pretty good for people to have that time off there at the end of the year. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it all kind of shakes out. But I really did enjoy the layout this season. I thought the tracks that we picked were particularly. This was probably, I think this was the most challenging season, not just in terms of number of races, but the especially that middle pack of the season. That was just so grueling. But the fact that we got through all that and we have 30 plus drivers on track to get to the end of round number 10 is a pretty amazing thing, in my opinion. I'm thinking maybe next season we have tracks that are a little less grueling, or at least not as concentrated as like 3-4 races in the middle.
Yeah.
That people are just white knuckling for anywhere from 70 to 90 minutes. But yeah, I'm interested to see what kind of track selection happens for next season.
Mm-hmm. Be very cool to see. Be cool to see as well. Oh, Nick Bowen going to be a big moment there. It's going to give Scott Fleming the opportunity to capitalize on that. I think we're getting closer and closer to a night race here in a little ways time. Lights not on quite yet for these drivers. Still have the daytime running lights that a lot of these cars have. Not required in the GT4 category, so that's why you see the Porsches don't have them. Very cool to see after 46 minutes of driving, 4 cars still within 2 seconds of each other. It is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Mello making the look as well on Nick Bowen.
Yeah, GT4 Pro really kind of holding this all together for us in terms of like really keeping it exciting from stint to stint. Because I mean, we would basically be focusing at this point on the fuel stint battles, which basically creates like anywhere from a 25 to a 35-minute pocket of watching people navigate through traffic and, you know, kind of hoping that people can make it through cleanly. But GT4 Pro really keeping it spicy here, even 47 minutes in.
Yeah, it's going to be super interesting to see. I saw this gap dip under a second as well. Wanted to talk about it because it gives us a little bit of a break of how much we've been focusing on the GT4s this race. GT3s pretty much as they were for a large part of it, minus a couple incidents here and there, and slowly working his way up the orders. Tommy Kogan, our big outlier of those drivers. And Sean Sullivan continuing to find his way to keep up with those drivers as well. Really trying to keep the triage of the gap between himself and Levi Powell to keep as many points as he can going into the home stretch. Jalen Ledbetter going to get stuck behind Levi Powell. Speaking of, it's going to open that gap back up to over a second. Definitely very cool to see, especially as these battles continue, that it gives us a bit of good racing to kind of keep an eye on throughout most of the field. And like you say, we talk about pit strategies. It's a big part of endurance racing. It's a bigger part of what we talk about for a large part of these races as a result. So to get to watch 2 drivers continue their on-track battles after a pit cycle, equally as cool as talking about the pit cycle between them and how that strategy is playing out for these drivers over the course of the hour and 40 minutes. In this instance, we've had anywhere from 70 to 90 minutes, including a couple of hour 40s. It's Robert Lewis refining the pace now that he's clear of a couple of GT4s.
Yeah, he's got a battle on his hands with Kyle Potter. Kyle Potter's still looming in the background. Kyle Potter, 1.2 seconds. Robert Lewis has quite the gap to Christopher Blue, so it's working out for him and his points. Benjamin O'Shea marked has crashed. Oh, and he bounces back onto the track. Wonder what happened there. That's on the exit of... On the exit of
5 is what it looks like. Just caught that curbing wrong. Bounces off of that. Backs up a little bit. Spooks Scott Fleming. Just so that way he could get the rotation in there. Gets that car going back the right direction. Doesn't seem... I
wonder if he's got... looks like he's snaking just a little bit. I wonder if that front... It's the front left that he hit?
Yeah.
Or the front right?
Let's see.
He gets through the corner okay.
Yeah, let me see here as well. Get a better idea of the onboard. Does fine until about here, and just that car was too unsettled to go over that curbing really well.
It's the front right.
Yeah.
So bounces and really fast moving to get it back on track, going the right direction. He's coming in early, I think.
Yeah, it'll be a couple laps early. I think if he does some fuel saving, he can manage or have a splash and dash. Scott Fleming.
Matt Pyle and Christopher Blue coming in as well.
Which I think should be about right for the schedule. We're on lap 40. A lot of these drivers pit on lap 19, which for them will be, I think, about lap 38, 39 here. Only about a lap or two down from the the LMP3s from the GT3s. Other way around for the GT3s from the LMP3s. There we go.
Kyle Potter going in 10A, 10B.
Trying to
Closing that gap down. 7 tenths now between him and Beltan.
Both of them
Beltan's into the pits, and they're both diving into the pits.
Oh,
right up to the line. Oh, did they touch?
Yeah, Kyle Potter definitely made contact there. Just want to take a ride on board with Kyle Potter there. On the brakes.
Oh, wow.
Then,
just manages, and then there's a little tap right there. Okay. Nothing I think that's going to cause.
No.
Yeah, it's going to cause crazy damage to anybody. I can take a look at Beltan's splitter. Everything looks okay. So we're going to see.
Not on the jacks. Kyle Potter on the jacks.
Yeah. So Beltan going to keep those tires.
Right. While a lap down, I believe, from these drivers, Ryan Nolan going to, I think, split the difference between Robert Lewis and Kyle Potter, which I think will mean Kyle Potter will probably not be the most pleased to try to get around him. But I think Nolan's going to let him through that issue.
Yeah. So looking at the pit times, 19.27 seconds for Robert Lewis. But Kyle Potter was up on the jacks and was in the box for 20.98. Interesting. Maybe he didn't take. Maybe he didn't take a full set.
Yeah, that'd be my guess. Only took 2 tires.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see how that car gets back up into temperature, especially when he's going off there.
Yeah.
He seems to be losing a little bit of time to Robert Lewis now.
William Lewis in the pits. So the LMP3s were able to push a couple more laps. So I expect to see maybe Ethan come in at lap 44. Tommy Kogan in right now. Or no, he was in 20.85 on the jacks.
Mm-hmm.
Robert Lewis, let's see where he cycles out. I think Robert Lewis is going to be 10 seconds back.
Yeah, looks like it.
Yeah. He's catching Tim Mello right before turn 3. Gets the move done quite quickly. Now he's got to navigate Scott Fleming through the S's, and he is hustling to get the car through the GT4 traffic and build up that gap to Kyle Potter, which that gap's now grown to almost 4 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So it is. Everybody's locked in for a long second half of the race because we're fast approaching the 60-minute mark.
Yeah, we're over halfway. Benjamin O'Shea labeled as crashed again. Just got that car back out of pit lane after having the first incident. Same corner, caught in the same way. Or, excuse me, not quite the same way. No, yeah, same way. Just too much curb. Oh, that looks like that's a much more brutal
And that
thing.
that one hit the front right a little bit harder this time. I think he might have some suspension damage. But Benjamin O'Shea, and that, I mean, Benjamin O'Shea was like not far off of Nathaniel Baker, 20 points. But Benjamin O'Shea, Nathaniel Baker retiring the car, I think if Benjamin O'Shea can just get back out on track and finish the race, he can stay ahead of he can leapfrog Nathaniel Baker. So we're going to see how that works out.
Mm-hmm. Tanner Schiffner joining the drivers that have had issues today with a crash. Looks like a fine car. We'll see what happens. It looks like oh my gosh.
Tanner Schiffner just taking the autocross line.
What happens here? Just too much rotation early on. Drifts it out wide. Catches it. Brings it back on track. And then goes to rotate it. And then just.
And then Scandy flick into turn 8. Does he keep it out of the wall? He does.
Yeah. Keeps it together. Loses
Gets
a little
it
bit
back
of
out
time.
on track. And Robert Lewis is going to get around him. So Robert Lewis up to third now.
Mm-hmm.
Tanner Schiffner doesn't have to worry about anything from Gab Chavez. He punched out after the heat race. But Tommy Kogan in second place right now. And if I'm looking at the points right now, going into this race, it was a 39-point gap going into this race.
Mm-hmm.
I think Tanner Schiffner's okay, but we're gonna have to see this play itself out. We do have 9 GT3s still in the race, and some of the lights are coming on track.
Yep. Lights on the cars are also on as well. We have hit a night race. William Lewis going to get black flagged amongst all this craziness. I think for pit lane speeding. We'll see how long he's in the pit box. Scott Fleming going to come out of pit lane as well. A lot of the GT4 is in for their second pit stop of the evening. We'll have one more before the end. That'll be a splash and dash of a sort. We're in the last 20 or so minutes.
Yeah. Been a slog. Thanks, everybody, for hanging around, watching Track Limits Sports Car Series Round 10, the finale at Road Atlanta.
Certainly. And we're going to be, I think, having a pretty fun quick break here. When we get back, we might have, I think, a pretty cool, or at least a little bit of a different change of pace. We've been having, I think, a pretty similar look to this stream so far. I might bring you a little bit of a new look for the next season Sports Car Series. Get a little more technical.
I think that'll be
with
fun.
It. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Off track for Kyle Potter there as he is trying to chase down Tanner Schiffner.
Have we not gotten a drive-through yet for off tracks?
I don't think so.
It's got to be in the cards, man.
I would have
It's
to
got to
imagine.
be in the cards.
Henry Garcia also hit with a black flag. I wonder if that's as well for a pit lane speeding penalty.
And that is going to make his battle with Tim Mello. Tim Mello right now still has yet to pit. Putting in good numbers.
Enter pit lane. Where's the pit lane? There we go. Curious to see if we can see this happen in real time.
They both slide.
Oh, he gets
Oh,
pushed.
I wonder if that's what did it.
That probably is what did it, given that he's over a
Unfortunate.
minute into that pit box. So that's got to be frustrating to have to do that. Put all that work in to get pushed over the line, and therefore we receive a black flag for speeding.
Kyle Potter currently 4/10 back from Tanner Schiffner. This is Tanner getting loose on corner exit.
Battle in GT4.
Here we go. Oh, giving him a bump.
Giving a little bit of bump draft.
A little bit of a bump. Maybe trying to make him overspeed into the corner. Backs out of it early. Tanner doesn't fall for it. Kyle's right there though. He's not going anywhere.
Can't tell if Kyle's trying to help him get back up to the fight with Robert Lewis or what the plan is here.
A good question. Doing a little buddy system, maybe. Ooh, going into turn 3. Yep.
Oh, Nick Bowen going to get out of the way of that one. Hurt Pineda, as well as a battle between him and Paul Miles, intersecting this battle in GT3. Jack Wilkins going to catch up to them as he's about to lap these drivers. The whole season wrapped up in one finale. Benjamin O'Shea joining us in chat after he has decided to put that car, keep it in pit lane for a while, still repairing some damage there. Jack Wilkins with an off track there, which puts him back into a fight with Jaden Ledbetter for the position. For the bottom step of the podium.
This is always the trickiest part too of like Petit.
Oh man.
Not only navigating traffic, but then dealing with day to night transition.
Mm-hmm. And 4 in-class battles,
Yeah.
excuse me.
All happening at the
All
same
happening
spot.
in one spot. The S's, the most dangerous spot for any of these to be happening. As you see the battle between Paul Miles and Herbert Pineda, the battle between Jack Wilkins and Jaden Ledbetter, as well as the battle between Colin Johnson and Scott Fleming, which got a little bit spread out as well, all that interclass battle, but we'll see if it comes back into the favor of those 3 drivers. Garrett Hillman around once again on the run up to turn 7 and 8.
Yeah, I think I exited turn 5, just claimed another soul.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe he's still going to come out in front of Paul Miles. So, I mean, he's got a heck of a gap. He's got so much space.
20 seconds between himself and where Garrett Hillman, Gene Cardoso, who was behind him. And then another 40 seconds between Gene Cardoso and Paul Miles in this battle between him and Herbert Pineda. No, I guess Herbert. I don't know what I was trying to say there. Oh my goodness! And that's gonna bring an end to that fight for LMP3 P3 as Jane Ledbetter is bumped off wide, and Herbert Pineda just gonna rejoin in the middle of the fight between Colin Johnson and Scott Fleming, and almost take out a GT4 in the process.
That's a choice.
Yeah, how it is.
What a wild race, man.
Oh my gosh.
So Benjamin O'Shea looks like he's going to stay in the pits, which is interesting because, I mean, if he could just get back out on track, I think he would leapfrog Nathaniel Baker in the points. I mean, maybe.
Damage.
Yeah, that might also be it, too. I mean, he's been in the pits for 8 minutes, but.
He just finally got the black flag or the meatball flag cleared.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm looking right now because, like, Benjamin O'Shea, before this race started, was 20 points down from Nathaniel Baker. And if I remember correctly, I think Nathaniel Baker had a pretty rough result in the heat race. Let me actually pull up the results on my screen, and I'll tell you. Give me a second. So if I go to the results, yeah. So, yeah, Nathaniel Baker finished.
What the hell?
Can I see?
Is
Can I actually see the results? What do you mean?
What the hell is happening? I went to see why Kyle Potter crashed, and what I found was how, despite Jaden Ledbetter getting kind of taken out in this turn, a lap later Jack Wilkins self spins. And then Jaden Ledbetter.
Kyle Potter quick on the brakes.
Yeah, can just slide on by and retake the position. I would say great heads up driving out of Kyle Potter to end up. And we're back to the battle for the bottom 2 steps of the podium in GT4 Pro. And Benjamin O'Shea is going to be back out on track. I think you have that math right, that if he just finishes, he has a very high likelihood of getting past Nathaniel Baker.
Crazy, man. It's just absolute. Like, I don't know if it's like people just like losing a little bit of concentration or I mean, this is a long race. People are just probably getting tired.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a huge part of it. Oh, Herbert Pineda just intersecting all of these cars trying to get through, which is giving Scott Fleming a pretty slow exit out of turn number 8.
Tim Mello in the draft. Gian Cardoso on the outside, but he's going to clear these two before they get down to 10A. But is he going to clear Colin Johnson?
Oh, Colin Johnson's going to be a little bit early on the brakes to allow that to work itself out.
That's going to bring Scott Fleming and Tim Mello a little bit closer. Right. So Tim Mello right now really got a good buffer between him and Henry Garcia right now. I mean, there's 3 cars between him and Henry Garcia. Sean Sullivan really losing out in the feature race. 9th position, definitely not where he wants to be relative to Levi Powell.
Only 2 cars separate him and Levi Powell, so I'm wondering whether that's going to be enough for Levi Powell to take home the win. Did I say the win? I think it is a win. Excuse me. Top spot in the GT4 AM podium. Mm-hmm. Given how that gap, I think, got closed down to about even, or a couple points in Sean Sullivan's favor instead of the about 4-point cap I think we had going into it.
Yeah, it's going to be close.
Henry Garcia going to have a big old runoff.
Autocross moment.
Yep. Keeps it out of trouble. Definitely not doing himself any favors, though I think he's probably pretty upset. He's just going to be looking to get to the finish after that. But this here, Scott Fleming forced to take the long way around. Colin Johnson placing that car very well to end up in retaining that P2 position as multi-class traffic is really throwing a wrench in the plans of these drivers in the GT4 category.
Yeah, so Scott Fleming right now with Tim Mello as a buffer to Nick Bowen in the background. This is what Scott wants to see, battling back after pit stop threw him down the order on the first cycle, but manages to battle back in the second cycle. I think Nick Bowen had maybe some damage that he wanted to get repaired manually in the pits for a minute. 25.9 on the jacks, probably took tires as well.
I think it was that in addition to the incident that he had where he ended up pushing Henry Garcia over the line to give him a black flag. Slowed him up as well.
I love racing at this track at night.
Yeah.
I like racing in. So my favorite car to race around here, love racing the Porsche at night.
Okay.
The inside with the black light turned on and stuff, moving through traffic. It's just my jam. I also like it. I also like the LMP2 around here as well. LMP2 is a lot of fun.
So good. I've only done, I think, the Petit Le Mans once. Oh my gosh.
Wow. That was
You can get some serious air there, it turns out.
Yeah. Nick Bowen trying to let this traffic through. Anthony Newman currently 10 seconds ahead of Tommy Kogan.
Mm-hmm.
GT3 is just basically spread out. I think it's all down to strategy and, trying to get to the end of the race okay. Luke Patrick taking a little off-road on the exit of turn 5. manages to keep it from experiencing the rear end snap that a lot of his colleagues have seen tonight. We got to be getting close to final pit stops for a good chunk of the field.
So anywhere in the next 10 minutes, we'll probably see them happen.
Yeah. We've seen some people come in early, but those folks are probably going to have to take one more at the end. Benjamin O'Shea jumps to the pits.
Oh, boy.
Unfortunate, man.
He has a black flag. Same corner. Third time's a charm. Oh.
Unfortunate, man.
That is.
Turn 5, man. That is just not Benjamin O'Shea's corner.
I think he just is. I don't see the LMP3s take as much of it in the way that he does. The outside curbing. I'm super curious if just the way
what is happening here.
You have a battle between Jack Wilkins and Garrett Hillman for P4 overall.
And
as well
Ethan
as
Hamlet.
And Ethan Hamlet in the background. And Tanner Schiffner trying to survive all of this.
Yeah.
Ethan Hamlet, 7 seconds ahead of Luke Patrick, who's now a minute ahead of Jaden Ledbetter.
Yeah, Luke Patrick definitely...
Or, excuse me, 59 seconds.
Coming away with some good points. Whoa.
Whew.
Yeah. Whoa. Yeah. Guys. What is happening? Are they racing? Are they actually racing Ethan?
They're trying to. Might as well, you know.
I don't understand. Like, because these two are fighting so intensely right now. Ethan Hamlet's just trying to, I guess, bide his time.
Yeah, trying to be patient. Doesn't want to get involved.
Here we go.
Garrett Hillman around the outside.
Off. Wow.
Oh, it's going to make for an awkward transition back on start-finish stretch. Ethan Hamlet says, I'm just going to go pit now and not worry about this.
Yeah.
Wise decision, I think.
Yeah, Ethan Hamlet's like, okay. Yep. Got 26 minutes to the end of this race. I think I can make it. I think I can pull it off.
Luke Patrick going to inherit the lead of the race as he stays out another lap.
So Luke Patrick had a little bit of gap to these guys. So I wonder if he's just going to try and make hay while the sun shines. See if he can close that gap down to Ethan Hamlet even more. But Ethan Hamlet not going to have to put as much fuel in the car if he's stopping early.
I think it really depends on how much fuel he needs to get to the end and how much he's been doing in terms of a fuel save.
Yeah, 13.48 seconds in the pits.
Okay. Curious to see what the rest of the fuel times look like for the rest of these drivers.
Yeah, Alan Love coming in now.
Tim Mello making the pass around Colin Johnson, who's been kind of slow the last lap or so. Get back to that battle between Garrett Hillman and Jack Wilkins, which we just dipped away from for the moment, but now, once again, battles on track intersecting.
Yep. And Scott Fleming probably going to break a little bit early into turn 1, let the missiles just fly on by.
Worry about it on the back end.
So again, like Nick Bowen, not that far back.
Nope, you can see
like
him in
Nick
the
Bowen
shot.
Could arrive on the scene should trouble arise.
Oh my gosh, Luke Patrick trying to find his own way through Tanner Schiffner.
Matt Pyle, Christopher Blue in the pits.
Anthony Newman as well.
Anthony Newman. Yep.
Yeah. That's a pretty good indicator that the rest of our GT3 category is going to come in soon.
There's Robert Lewis as well. Tommy Cogan staying out. Tommy Cogan going to try and push a little deeper. So Matt Pyle, 20.15 in the box. Let's see what Christopher Blue does. $19.53. So saving a little bit of time. Anthony Newman, 19.65. And Robert Lewis just now hitting his stall and the counter going up.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see where these drivers all work their way out.
19 seconds dead for Robert
Wow.
Lewis.
Interesting. Okay. Gian Cardoso, I think the first of our early pitters alongside a couple of them.
Ethan Hamlet pitted. Well, yeah, and Jack. Yeah,
so Jack Wilkins also came in at the end of that lap as well.
Yep.
So LMP3 field getting real spread out as a result. Not that they weren't already.
Yeah.
30 seconds between Ethan Hamlet and Jaden Ledbetter. Turn back into 30 seconds between, almost a minute between Luke Patrick and Jaden Ledbetter when the pit cycle is all said and done. Luke Patrick going to set the fastest lap of the race this time by with a 1:13.75. Boy, howdy. They are rapid.
Yeah. He is really trying to take advantage of the fact that Ethan pitted early.
Mm-hmm. Curious as well to see where Kyle Potter and Robert Lewis come out. We saw them battling earlier on. Tanner Schiffner kind of interrupted that.
So Kyle Potter just hitting the box. He's up to 10 seconds now as Robert Lewis comes by.
And the two pile driver machines
are together.
Yeah, they are. Or at least I think they at one point were pile driving machines. I don't know that Ryan Beauchesne still drives for the pile drivers.
Looks like he does.
Looks like he does. It's
In the 64.
Corvette.
The other Corvette on track.
The livery for me is something a little bit different. I can't. Oh no, I just am blind. I can't see it on the over the rear tires.
Yeah.
That's what we're learning. Is my eyeballs aren't working very well today.
Tommy Cogan in.
Ooh.
Where Tommy Cogan cycles out.
Yep.
So he hits the stall. Not going up on jacks, so not taking tires.
Ooh, yeah, I think that makes sense. If you want to take tires, take it in the middle one.
So where is So Anthony Newman's going to find his way around, but how about Beltane? Going to be close. Those numbers are getting closer together.
I don't think it's going to be quite enough. As Robert Lewis, Beltane going to be coming across the start-finish line. Tommy Cogan going to be just into turn number 3.
I hate how they do the interval when they're in the pits with like the distances.
The feet? Yeah, it's very interesting. It doesn't make a whole ton of sense. Oh my gosh. Good catch.
What a catch.
Henry Garcia there. Benjamin O'Shea says, let's see if it happens again. He's going to bring that car out once more, looking to see if he can bring it home just enough. And Tim Mello got a jump ahead of Scott Fleming in the closing stages here with a shorter pit stop.
So that is going to put Scott Fleming
by 3/10 behind
Nick Bowen.
Yep, both of them behind
Nick Bowen with an absolute blinder, 14.93 seconds.
Oh yeah,
Tim Mello taking the autocross line. That's going to let Scott Fleming through.
Mm-hmm. Henry Garcia trying to get around Logan Branson, who still finds himself in second overall of the GT4 AM. Sorry, second of GT4 AM
Yeah.
After the pit cycle, or before the pit cycle for both of these drivers. Benjamin O'Shea
Luke Patrick, last lap, 13.7.
Jeez, 7.2, getting even faster.
Still yet to pit.
Mm-hmm. These two drivers going to take it probably to the checkered flag here. Listen to the onboard of a Mercedes AMG GT3 is like always like such a like comforting feeling for me.
Yep. The macho.
Oldest, it's also like the one I have the most seat time in out of any GT3.
Yeah.
It's the first one I ever did a special event on in the Spa 24 in 2023. Was it 2023 or was it 2024? No, it had to be 2023 because I was in between gigs. Man. He's got a great run here going into turn number 1, but Ryan Bouchane has the inside line.
Just watching him just leap the curb.
Mercedes is really good at just kind of abusing curbs. Oh, that looks like a pretty solid line. Ryan Bouchane a little bit more conservative on it. He's going to play defensive. These two pile driving racers, I think, are going to have a little bit of fun towards the end of this race, battling each other. Scott mad. Ooh. I wonder if that's for the shenanigans we saw on that craziness with Tim Mello ending up going off track. On top of the 2-second faster pit cycle for Nick Bowen that just leapfrogged all of them. This battle, closest one on track. In the closing
closest one on track.
Just under 20 minutes to go. 17 or 16 and a half. Milo's pit. Oh, okay. Paul Miles entered pits. Paul Miles entered pit lane. Let's see what happened if there's... Oh. Catches Paul Miles on the exit of that corner. Interesting. Yeah, there's that craziness. Okay.
All right, so we're up to speed now.
We're up to speed
Jake
here.
Hewitt going into pits for his final stop. Garrett Hillman in as well.
Yep. Last few stragglers. Colin Johnson stretching that pit longer than I think any other GT4. And Tim Mello just hanging out with Scott Fleming.
Luke Patrick still has yet to pit.
I think he'll be the last LMP3 to pit. Much like Sean Sullivan, Logan Branson, and Colin Johnson.
It's Luke and Jaden, actually.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, Jaden hasn't pit since lap 45.
Interesting.
Jaden, our man on the ground, currently in third.
Watching this race develop. Night lights on for a lot of these cars as well. The identifying lights in the GT3s, GT4s, and the LMP3s have no such generosity because largely 9 times out of 10 they're not in endurance racing. Jaden letting you know that he tries.
So with Scott Fleming clearing Tim Mello, gonna get him 2.7 seconds to Nick Bowen. Let's look at the last lap times. Even with the traffic, Scott Fleming only 0.02 of a second down on pace.
Tim Mello running the same lap time as Nick Bowen, though, which means that Scott Fleming has to find a couple tenths there.
Luke Patrick still yet to pit, but 20.8 seconds between him and Ethan Hamlet. So think it's still within striking distance for Ethan. Now, what about Jaden though? 35 seconds back. Pit lane travel times 54. Well, like at least 45.
Yeah, at least 45.
At least 45.
Going off of Ethan Hamlet's speeding. Once again, multi-class traffic. 2 battles overlapping as Matt Bile leans on the door of Ryan Beauchesne. And then he's going to use that as a pick and roll, or attempt to. See if Ryan Beauchesne has the over-under. Nope, it's not have a good exit there.
And Scott's got to be thinking, please no.
Please don't. Please get around without killing me. Luke Patrick finally diving into pit road from the lead of the race. Ethan Hamlet working his way by.
Yep. But I don't think he's got to worry about Ethan Hamlet. I think he's got to worry about Jaden.
Yes. Well, I don't think he has to worry about anybody right now because it's over a minute ahead of Jaden Ledbetter. 12 seconds on the jacks, 43 seconds in pit lane.
Yeah. I couldn't math. When you're doing a race this long, your math skills really go in the toilet.
They do. They do slowly just kind of devolve.
Yeah.
Multi-class traffic has allowed Colin Johnson to be caught up. Well, also Colin Johnson just getting out of pit lane this time by.
Scott Fleming's now 2 seconds back from Nick Bowen.
Yeah, this multi-class traffic is slowing down most of the GT4s. So,
yeah.
Levi Powell still has yet to pit as well. One of our late pitting drivers. It's GT3s.
Oh my goodness.
Get along with the GT4s. Paul Miles keeps it tidy. It's going to give Nick Bowen a better run here. You can see these two drag race.
Scott Fleming in the background, 1.3. It's closing down quite quickly. We might have ourselves a sprint here at the end.
Certainly might. Colin Johnson going to tuck in behind Nick Bowen, try to return the favor. Going into turn number 10. I don't think he'll have quite the overlap to do so. Lofty moment there. Gian Cardoso going to try to work his way through this traffic without too much of a hassle. Going to lean on the door of Nick Bowen just ahead. Get through it there well. It's going to leave Colin Johnson a little bit more speed.
Scott Fleming, way off track, just absolutely keeping his foot in it.
Has no room for error. None of these drivers do. It's Benjamin O'Shea trying to cut through to keep on keeping on. Just wants to bring that car home to a good finish and see if he can't at least get up the order and break into that top 5 with a points haul.
So no room for error or nothing to lose? Which one?
Both.
Both?
I think both is applicable.
Yeah, why not both?
Yeah. No room for error and nothing to lose. Black flag for Logan Branson for incident limit. Finally.
Well, so I mean, hats off to the field for that long. I really thought we would have more DTs. Seriously.
I thought we would as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's pretty cool that we don't, as this 3-way fight, I think, is more and properly on at this point. Though Tommy Kogan may put a dampener in it as he goes flying trying to get around all those cars.
Tommy Kogan doing a 17.9 last lap. Beltan's doing a 17.8. I think Beltan's running out of runway, but with the multi-class traffic, I mean, it's still possible. You can see him in the background shot there.
Nick Bowen kind of winning out on the multi-class traffic for the time being. Colin Johnson
clapping softly. GT4 Pro, ladies and gentlemen.
An hour and 30 minutes left, and we still have a battle for the bottom 2 spots on the podium. As well as, I'm going to try to see if Levi Powell is really going to try to make this 2-stop work. Because he still has not come in for his final pit stop. I know he needs to. He's going to run out of room here soon, but
This is crazy.
Oh, man. And not to discount either. Ryan Beauchene bringing the fight back to Matt Pyle as well.
All right, so with Scott Fleming now in the draft on Colin Johnson, can he clear the Porsche and continue to take this fight to Nick Bowen?
Let's see.
Scott Fleming is about a tenth faster. Anthony Newman marked as crashed.
Yeah. He is marked as crashed.
He is now second. Tommy Kogan is now in first. Wonder what happened there.
Yeah. Let's take a quick
That's a little
look.
bit of spice.
Oh, it's breaking on the grass. We'll do it. Oh, my Lord. Keeps it out of harm's way.
Oh, but then spins it on entry back onto the track.
Okay. Keeps out of almost runs it. Tommy Kogan.
Tommy Kogan just manages to miss it. And now those tires are going to be
Upset with
dog water.
Yes.
Tommy Kogan may sneak out a victory here, and you want to talk about points.
Oh, boy. Herbert Pineda got to really cause problems for the Ryan Beauchene Matt Pyle battle as he tries to work his way back up the order as well and get ahead of Paul Miles. Oh, as William Lewis also is trying not to get murdered amongst all this in the S's.
Oh. Wow.
We all survived.
For now.
Oh, and then Herbert Pineda's going to get bumped wide as Paul Miles rear ends him. Keeps out of the wall, though.
Scott Fleming cannot seem to get around Colin Johnson, and this is keeping Nick Bowen in this fight.
Kyle Potter.
Kyle Potter just
trying to find a way around.
Yep.
There's the look.
Okay, so he's got the outside line, getting ready to go into turn 9. The funniest turn in all of racing.
Yep, that is considered a corner.
Yep.
It's gonna be who's latest on the brakes. Colin Johnson gonna defend on the inside. Turns into the outside.
Fleming rear end is
kind
of upset.
Overlap. Tim Mello's gonna make it 3 wide.
Oh, come on, guys. Come on, guys. Come on,
Nathan
guys.
Hamlet's trying not to get murdered in the process.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
okay.
Boy. Okay. All right. And that's Jaden Ledbetter.
Wow.
Oh, okay. We're good. All right.
Tim Mello sneaking around. What is going on? Scott is probably livid.
Probably a little upset about how all that played out. Colin Johnson equally so. He went from second to fourth in 2 corners. They've got 5 minutes to sort it out. Tommy Kogan has 5 minutes to see if he can defend from Anthony Newman, who is on a tear to get back up to the lead of the race for GT3. Oh, they're going to come to doors.
They're touching into 10A.
All right. Tommy Kogan with the over-under.
Giving him the flash. Okay, penultimate corner. Now going into 12. Wow, right on him.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay,
keep
into
up.
turn 1. What happens? Anthony Newman's building up a gap already.
Yeah. Just has the pace. Scott Fleming right behind, leaning on the door of Colin Johnson. Saw this play out before. Looks for the over-under. Out of 10B, it's squiggly, which means he's going to lose the momentum. And he's going to have to give this shot another run here in a little while. Tim Mello, meanwhile, gone up the road from these two. I'm sure that's got to be frustrating for Scott Fleming, who is trying to get around Colin Johnson for this 4th position.
Oh, wow.
Flashing. He lets Colin Johnson know he's not thrilled with being stuck behind, but he has to find a way to pass safely. And that's where Colin Johnson has made this car as wide as possible.
This has been absolutely bonkers in GT4 Pro.
I worry this comes to blows before the race is over. 1 hour and 37 minutes elapsed. 3 minutes left to go. Anthony Newman just carving a gap of about a second immediately after. Matthew Pyle, Ryan Beauchesne as well, still in a battle for position. Sean Sullivan, I think, still defending from Corey Lobner amongst all this. If I've got that right. I do indeed. It's right.
It's crazy. Crazy.
Oh, sorry. Sean Sullivan and Logan Branson in a battle for the bottom two steps of the GT4 AM podium. That was what we just saw. Those two. Boy, howdy.
I know, right?
Hour and 40 minute race, hour and 37 minutes in. We have many battles for podium spots and just past podium spots. Still up for grabs, Colin Johnson still defending from Scott Fleming. Ryan Beauchesne cutting down the distance to Matt Pyle. These two pile driving machines still in it for a spot in the top 10 of the GT3. Ryan Beauchesne makes a look, leans on the door, backs, doesn't commit too hard, doesn't want to end up in the door of Matt Pyle. So we'll have to try again.
Good stuff. Garrett Hillman now 6/10 back from Jack Wilkins.
Thereabouts. Tommy Kogan with a spin and off track, which opens up that gap to over a second. We're still hanging out with these two drivers.
Well, if Tommy Kogan spun,
I think it was
Robert
an off track
Lewis,
for a second.
Okay.
Yes,
Robert Lewis is
still
now 2.5 seconds back.
Yes.
Scott Fleming, Colin Johnson, less than 1.5 tenths. Wow.
Oh.
Scott Fleming just is... he doesn't lift at all into the final corner.
Nope.
Just no lift, just full draft, doesn't care. Just trying to get around Colin Johnson by
He's got, I think, one
point.
lap to do it. So I think Ethan Hamlet's about to finish his final lap of the race. Or maybe we got one more. I'm about to see if we come across the line here. Because the math states we should have either just barely one more.
Oh, no, we're going to have one more.
That is the white flag.
Man. Oh, wow. Okay. All right, one more.
So one more lap.
We go again.
All of these drivers to sort their differences. Garrett Hillman, 8 tenths behind Jack Wilkins. Ryan Beauchesne still 4 tenths behind Matt Pyle. Scott Fleming and Colin Johnson have one more good opportunity to make this happen as they get closer and closer to the checkered flag.
Keeping an eye on Ethan. He just passed the halfway point of the lap.
Yeah, these two drivers working their way down the start-finish line now to take the white flag. You can see it out of there. Barry, the flagman, going as hard as he can. Ryan Beauchesne looking to make the pass happen. Has to lift to allow his teammate to not end up in the door. As they come to take the white flag.
Here comes Ethan around the final corner.
He's going to lift a little bit, allow Robert Lewis to take his own checkered flag, or his own white flag.
And Ethan manages to survive an hour and 40 minutes of multi-class chaos. That said, everybody was relatively clean, I think. Like, it was a pretty
Absolutely.
clean race. We've seen multi-class races that are way more chaotic, but the thing is that the chaos was everybody being in the same spot at the same time.
Yeah. Ooh. Drag race down the backstretch for these two drivers. It's Ryan Beauchesne once again trying to find his way around Matt Pyle.
Robert Pineda in the background.
Oh, no. As he's trying to find his own way through, he lifts out, lets these two fight it out. Oh, no.
Oh, they touch.
They touch. And Matt Pyle's going to lose 2 spots as Christopher Blue picks up a position as well in the final stages. And Matt Pyle's going to get a black flag for incident limits.
Oh, unfortunate timing.
As Scott Fleming and Colin Johnson will finish in the order that we saw them. But there is a pretty big dent in the front end of... Oh, and he's going to run into Paul Miles as well. Oh.
Scott Fleming does not look happy.
I don't know that I would either. I think he might be pushing Paul Miles. Might be out of gas. Let's see if we right on board with Paul Miles.
The so the race should be over for everybody at this point.
Let's take a look at these results from the feature race. An hour and 40 minutes have passed. Ethan Hamlet is going to come home the winner. Only 8 seconds ahead of Luke Patrick, who found so much consistency over the course of that. Jaden Ledbetter going to round out the podium there, with Jack Wilkins coming in 4th, Gian Cardoso in 5th. Herbert Pineda, Benjamin O'Shea, Nathaniel Baker run out those 8 drivers, with Nathaniel Baker retiring early. Benjamin O'Shea going to be a few laps down because of incidents, but will find himself taking to the checkered flag. And I think that will get him a pretty solid bonus of points as these drivers are starting to work their way back around towards the start-finish stretch. Or just beyond in the turn 10. I think everyone's parked it up for the usual end of season photos. But LMP3AM, only 3 drivers there, but a pretty fantastic result. None of the same consistency really helping Garrett Hellman hold on to, I think, a pretty solid result there. Paul Miles in 2nd with Alan Love rounding out that podium. GT3, Phil, how are they looking?
GT3 was wild. Anthony Newman does manage to finish the race on top after the spin at in the last stint. Tommy Kogan a second back, with Robert Lewis taking the 3rd spot on the podium. Tanner Schiffner in 4th, going to come out with a good points haul in comparison to Gab Chavez, who punched out during the heat race. But Kyle Potter in 5th with Ryan Beauchesne 6th. Christopher Blue is going to finish 7th. Matt Pyle's going to finish 2 spots down from Ryan Beauchesne with them tangling in the chicane at the end of the race. Tyler Torville in 10th. He's going to retire along with Eduardo Zamora and Gab Chavez.
Yeah, last 2 of those not taking to the start of that race, let alone the end of it. GT4 Pro sees Jake Hewitt come home the winner there, ahead of a pretty close battle throughout most of this hour and 40-minute feature race. Nick Bowen winning the consistency battle there between those, 11 seconds behind Jake Hewitt. Only 2 seconds behind him is Tim Mello, who had a late race surge to really try to make up that distance in the gap there. Colin Johnson going to split the difference between Tim Mello and Scott Fleming, who was unable to get around him in the closing stages. But Tim Mello had a fantastic run out of the final corner to leapfrog both of them. Tony Garcia going to finish a lap down after getting pushed into pit lane, giving him a black flag for speeding on pit road. And then the likes of Corey Labner rounding out the grid there. As a few of the drivers are getting, I think, a little bit of a tow or a push. Oh, no.
Ooh.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
They're broken.
They may have broke some stuff. Oops. Benjamin O'Shea doing a bit of work to get Christopher Blue.
Maybe. Maybe.
While this is still developing, well, the GT4 AM drivers
Yeah, Levi Powell getting a good result to finish out the season. Logan Branson in second with Sean Sullivan in third. John Newman finishes out in fourth with William Lewis taking the fifth spot.
Sorry, I was busy worried that the blimp cam makes this looks much faster than I think it actually is.
Yeah.
And I'm just watching them careen towards a group of stopped cars, and I'm very concerned somebody is gonna go bowling. Whoa. He manages.
Still pretty cool. Everybody gathers up for the photo stuff at the end of the year. So good stuff all around.
All right.
Good stuff all around.
Who hasn't made it to I'm just curious. Levi Powell.
Yeah. I think Levi might be just out of gas.
Benjamin O'Shea on the return.
It's like, I got you, bro.
Benjamin O'Shea. I think definitely the heart of this race tonight. Going back for more folks to make sure.
Or is he?
I think he's going back for somebody.
Or is he? Or is he gonna go bowling in the front?
No, he's coming back for someone. Yeah, that's Tim Mello. That's who he's coming back for.
That's hilarious.
So,
all right, let's wrap her up.
Well, final thoughts as we.
I mean, it's just a good season. It was just a good season all around. I think there was a lot of good competition. Was really happy to see the fights go all the way to the end, and yeah, just really happy for everyone who participated. Really happy for everybody who tuned into the show. Thank you all so much. It was really awesome. And thank you, Finn, for being in the booth with me, as always.
I mean, thank you for being in the booth with me as well. They're still trying. They're getting it there. It is always such a pleasure. These are such a great group of folks. Such a fun way to spend some Saturday nights. I think it seems like everybody else always has such a blast with it. So it's so cool to see. Even while the racing, I think, has its ups and downs, it's like any other sport. You have good days and bad days. Largely, this community has always been one that I've seen so many people just, celebrate each other's wins, both on and off the track, including their own as well as each other's. It's such a fun, cool place to be. I could not think of a better group of people to help kind of elevate through commentary as well as spending some time doing some production work for the fun of it. As the last two, Benjamin O'Shea getting Tim Mello into that group photo.
Very cool. Very cool.
Good folk. Do I have a good dynamic or static TV cam? Nope, I don't. That's a speed cam.
Yep.
There's a very specific shot.
All right.
All right.
Yep.
Let's see.
Yep.
There. That's kind of decent.
Yeah. Not too bad. Not too bad. But yeah. Good season.
Absolutely.
Good fun. Good times all around. If you want to be a part of the fun, be sure and check us out on the web, on the World Wide Web.
Yes.
Thanks to the hardest working man in sim racing. Also, the Discord server is probably the premier spot to get involved.
Certainly is.
If you want to be a part of the action. But yeah, next season will be coming up soon. TM.
I believe so. I think we'll get a trailer here within the next little while. I have a draft, but I don't want to share it unless it's not the finalized product. And I was never given one.
Gotcha.
So
Yep.
we'll get a trailer out to everybody who's on the Discord. So if you want to be a part of the action, join us here for some fun Saturday night racing with some LMP3s, GT3s, and GT4s. Check us out on Discord. Get on the website. Join up all the fun that happens here. And we'll see you all very soon with a new season and a new look on the broadcast and a bunch of other cool stuff to add to the fancy experience that we get here at Track Limits Racing. So a huge thank you to everyone on track tonight, everyone that joins us for every week for creating the great racing that we get to talk about. And it's such a blast as I'm told to wait for it. Oh boy. Okay.
Oh no.
All right.
Well, while he's doing that, I'm going to find someone for us to raid.
Well, you find someone for us to raid. We'll wait for it.
All right, let's take a look. Clear it out. Clear out the info. Clear out the info. What's about to happen? What's about to go down?
We'll find out here. As Jaden is pushing Ethan Hamlet down the backstretch. And they go bowling.
Oh,
my
wow.
gosh.
Cars just everywhere.
Matt Pyle.
What a shot. Man, that is going to be wonderful in the trailer. I cannot wait. It's going to be so much fun.
Cannot wait either. Such a good.
Let's go.
Sean Sullivan ramping off.
All right.
Jack Wilkins.
Copy this, and let's get this raid started. We've got Death Dealer Racing.
Ooh.
Who's getting ready for Spa?
Okay.
Spa prep?
Yeah.
Doing a stream together.
Ooh.
Could be fun. So yeah, go say hi. And yeah, it's been great, guys.
It's been a
fantastic great, Finn.
season. Likewise, Phil. It'd be a good high jump record. Maybe. Pretty darn close, if not,
Yep, bringing you the Olympic track and field sports into motor racing.
There's an upside down Scott Fleming.
Yep. So much carnage.
As always. We'll get to see all this again at the end of next season. So we'll see y'all very soon. It's been a blast, as always. And thank you all very much for watching. And this is farewell for now, but not goodbye forever, in the words of somebody probably far more poetic about it than I am. And we'll see you all soon.
Take care, everybody.